Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're managing crops, especially high-value economic crops, you know that looking at fertilizer data can sometimes feel like you're staring at an absolute alphabet soup of chemical symbols. But today, we're going to cut through the noise. We are unpacking the science behind a product known as EDTA-MIX fertilizer, and we're going to turn all that complex lab data into practical, real-world farm value. We're going to see exactly how this stuff prevents you from basically throwing money away in the field. Think of this as your layman's guide to the ultimate plant multivitamin.
Here is a quick look at our agenda for today. 1. Meet EDTA-MIX. 2. The nutrition label. 3. Chelation explained. 4. Multidimensional growth. 5. Fruit quality. And 6. Southeast Asia status. Let's jump right in.
Section 1, meet EDTA-MIX trace element fertilizer.
Okay, before we get completely bogged down in the chemistry, let's just look at the physical product itself. Right here, we have batch 2020-5309. It comes as this really pure green powder, or you can get it in a uniform granular form, conveniently packed up in 1 kilogram bags. And the documentation for this specific 5,000 kilogram batch boasts a very solid 2-year shelf life. In practical terms, that just means less spoilage and way easier storage. It's a direct cost saver for your farming operation right out of the gate. No one wants expired fertilizer, right?
Section 2, decoding the nutrition label.
So we know what it looks like, but what is actually inside? Now, I know this certificate of analysis might look a little intimidating at first glance, but honestly, it's really just a nutrition label for your plants. The left column shows the guaranteed minimum standard, and the right shows the actual test results for this specific batch. The main takeaway here is pure value. Every single nutrient meets or even slightly exceeds those strict in-house requirements. You are getting exactly the nutritional payload you paid for.
If we visually map out the heaviest hitters from that table, we get a much clearer picture of the bulk nutritional value. We're seeing a really strong 5.1% zinc, 4.2% iron, and 2.1% manganese. Now, why does this matter so much? Because these 3 elements are literally the fundamental building blocks for your crop's health. Zinc drives enzyme function, iron is absolutely critical for energy transfer, and manganese helps power photosynthesis. They are perfectly balanced here to ensure your crops just don't hit a developmental wall halfway through the season.
But hey, a good multivitamin isn't just about the heavy hitters, is it? The formulation is brilliantly rounded out by some absolutely essential trace elements. We've got boron at 2.1%, copper at 0.5%, and a highly specific 0.2% of molybdenum. And you know, even though those percentages of copper and molybdenum seem tiny, fractions of a percent, their absence can cause massive developmental issues in plants. This precise down-to-the-decimal balance is exactly what takes a fertilizer from just being okay to being highly effective.
Section 3, what is chelation technology?
You've probably noticed the word chelated next to several of those minerals on the lab report. So what does that actually mean for your farm? Well, surprisingly, when you put raw, unchelated metals into the soil, a huge percentage of it just gets locked up by other minerals. It's wasted entirely. In layman's terms, I want you to think of chelation as a microscopic organic protective packaging. It wraps these trace elements in a little claw, shielding them from the harsh soil environment and ensuring they are fully absorbed right into the plant tissue. For high-value crops, this is a real game changer for efficiency. You aren't just dumping money into the dirt, you are putting it straight into the plant to drive your return on investment.
Section 4, promoting multidimensional crop growth.
So what happens out in the field when your plants actually absorb all this chelated nutrition? Well, according to the analysis, it acts directly on 3 main indicators. First up, an improved physical appearance. The plants literally just look healthier and more robust. Second, it ramps up essential chlorophyll production. That gives you those deep, rich green leaves that efficiently turn sunlight into energy. And third, all of this optimized biological function directly drives up your final yield. In simple terms, it's like putting a better engine in your car. You get more horsepower and ultimately a much bigger harvest.
Section 5, improving final fruit quality.
Now, if you are growing high-value crops, you already know it isn't just about growing bigger yields, it's about growing premium quality produce. This fertilizer acts as a powerful quality enhancer. It boosts vitamin C, increases sugar content for way better taste, and improves soluble solids. Crucially, though, it actively improves the storage quality and shelf life of the harvest. Economically, this is huge. It means your produce survives transport better, it looks way better on the supermarket shelf, and ultimately, it commands a much higher premium price at the market. Let's circle back and look at one more crucial number from that lab report, 7.7. That is the tested pH of this product in a 1% solution. A pH of 7.7 is slightly alkaline, but it is incredibly stable. This provides a very gentle, safe environment for the plant. Basically, it means you get all these profound quality improvements without the dreaded risk of burning or stressing out your expensive crops during application.
Section 6. Southeast Asian Market Application Status.
Now, you might be wondering, how does this specific formulation perform in Southeast Asian agriculture specifically? To be completely objective here, we have to look at exactly what the data tells us. The lab analysis fully confirms this is a premium, specification-beating product with perfect ratios of chelated minerals. However, the current source documentation we're looking at does not yet contain specific regional field trials or case studies dedicated exclusively to Southeast Asian crops. So we have absolutely incredible lab validation, but no specific regional field validation in these exact sources.
But, as the source text explicitly points out, chelated fertilizers excel in agricultural chemical fertilizers, playing a positive role in promoting crop growth. Regardless of the specific geographical region you're in, the fundamental agricultural science holds true globally. Plants need bioavailable zinc, iron, and manganese. Chelated trace elements excel at delivering those exact nutrients, actively promoting vigorous growth and high-quality outputs for economic crops literally anywhere in the world. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a look at your own agronomy plans and ask yourself a hard question. Are you just feeding your soil, or are your high-value crops actually absorbing the multivitamin they desperately need? Because having nutrients sitting around in the ground simply isn't enough. Chelation is what actually ensures those nutrients get into the plant to drive premium quality and maximize your financial yield. Thanks for joining me to decode the science of crop nutrition. Catch you next time.